I bought it in one of these antique centres in London about a year ago.
Yeah.
It was a case of love at first sight.
Love at first sight, yes.
It was a pattern that I already have in 2 other pieces.
Right.
Nothing on the size of this. I managed to persuade the colleague I was with that I needed it. I couldn't quite afford it at the time.
Oh,
so
that was a problem. You wanted it, but you couldn't afford it.
No.
How did you resolve that?
Well, I bought one half of it.
You bought a half?
Yes.
Which half is yours?
The front side.
Oh, the front half is yours.
With the intention that if it was worth its value later on,
yes,
I could actually acquire the second half.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I suppose right at the start then we need to know what your half cost.
£800.
£800 for half of the vase. I think it's the finest Carlton Ware vase that I've seen. There is some printed work at the top of the vase, but when we come down through this lovely willow tree to the handwork on the bird here, with each separate feather colour applied by hand, we can see that it's a magnificent piece of work and has taken hours and hours of time to do. Let's turn it round just to look at the design all the way around. We'll see that this wonderful bird is on the other side, caught in flight. It's almost a photographic image of it. It's absolutely wonderful. And the shape, after a Chinese shape, is absolutely gorgeous. Down the inside of the vase, we have these lustres, which Carlton Ware were famous for.
Yeah.
They're lustre glazes. But unusually for this quality of vase, they haven't used much lustre work on it. This vase was made about 1928.
Yes.
It's a rare pattern. It's very unusual in size. So for all the reasons that you fell in love with it, they were all the right reasons, because it's a wonderful object. Carlton Ware is just becoming more and more collectible at the moment. People are really beginning to appreciate the quality of the work, which by the 1920s was as good as anyone. I think if you put this into an auction at the moment, you would get £3,000 for it.
For that size?
£3,000 for that vase.
At this current moment?
At this stage.
Gosh.
It's a great object.
So it is worth acquiring the second half then?
I'm most amazed to see an American knife here today like this. This particular knife is very, very sought after by American collectors. How long have you had it?
50 years.
About 50 years in the family? Mm-hmm. Right. Well, here we have the American eagle, and on the other side, the motto, which you often see on American coins, E pluribus unum. It's a Bowie knife, of course, and there's the typical shaped Bowie, named after James Bowie, who carried a very similar knife, and so all these knives with clip-back blades are known as Bowie knives. But the Americans do like their own knives, and this is very much an American knife. Many Bowie knives were made in Sheffield, and they were shipped through the Hudson Bay Company and for trappers and hunters in America. But this is an American-made one, and of course very, very desirable in the American knife market. And I think you might be surprised to know it has a value of about £3,000.
You're joking.
No, that is, and possibly more.